Berkcast, the How to Train Your Dragon podcast. I'm your host, HC. With me are.
Wolf.
Ian.
And we're back with the second season of DreamWorks Dragons Rescue Riders. Can you feel the excitement? Well, considering that season one is our most viewed episode, I'm assuming there is some excitement about this.
The best Dragons episode, the best Dragons thing to ever be made.
What? Just between us, the excitement, or just in general? Because
For this season, I think just between us, because with the first season, I've actually heard a lot of more people talk about it, for better or worse. And here it was like, oh yeah, that's a thing. That's a
best
thing
Dragons
that's
thing
coming out.
ever made. People, Dragons fans be sleeping on this show and they be missing out.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's enjoyable to watch. That's still my stance, but I wouldn't watch it just from myself, really.
Yeah, I think at this point the only reason I'm actually watching it is because we need to do this, but for yeah, but being fair here, kind of like what Ian said, this is still a fine show. We are not the target demographic. We are aware, but for the demographic that it's aimed at, you could do a lot worse. You could do better. I would give you some examples that you can do better, but at the same time, it's not terrible. It's fine for what it is. But at the same time, I don't feel like this was any improvement or downgrade of the previous season. It's more of it's like the definition of more of the same. And if you like the first season to watch with your kids or for yourself or something, you'll probably have a good time with this one. But if you're looking forward to like, oh, this is where the show really starts to get going, no, don't go in with that mindset.
I mean, it there's one element that got a little bit repetitive, but at least it was a story point that kept coming back, I suppose.
what you're
But
talking
we'll
about.
get to
It
that.
was
Yeah,
nice to see
well-
a kind of through line throughout the season, and there is one
Yeah.
little moment that made me go, "Oh, that was cute." All right, you know what? You got me a little bit with that one, but I mean,
What,
overall,
the
near the very
iron,
end,
Yeah.
the iron thingy dragon's baby.
not quite that one,
Oh, yeah.
but that wasn't too
And
bad.
Those babies are cute.
there's one thing that I can tell you that is consistent with the previous season. I still don't like Wingirl. I don't
you
like
don't?
this. I don't like this guy. He's boring. And when he's not boring, you know what? We'll get to this because it's kind of going into one of the episodes. But
find
I
him
don't
quite
like him.
funny, really. I don't know. He had moments this season where I was like, oh, nice.
He's still basically leader catchphrases and nothing
Oh yeah.
else.
Oh no. Oh, if anything, they cashed in on that. Really.
Oh, actually, you know what? If you want
H2
catchphrases,
on it.
this is they were so freaking proud of that pun. Like
Oh, boy.
H2 on
Wait,
it,
which?
and the
Oh yeah.
Summer's
and there was also like the H2OUD. It's like, really? That's the
H2.
level
Oh
of
god, please stop.
I admit, I laughed at that one. That one made
That
me
one was
chuckle.
alright.
you know
Made
you
me
know
chuckle.
you know what? I chuckled too, but I don't think it was for the reasons they wanted me to chuckle. It was like, really?
Like, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Summers VA is Sky Jackson. I'll give her credit. She knows how to sass as characters. Like, she can do sass very well, and that one had that
Actually,
sass.
I don't know about you. Since you mentioned this, but am I the only one who found her voice kind of grainy in this season?
What Summers?
Yeah, so I don't know why. Like I didn't have any problems with her in the first season. It's not like I have a problem with her in this bunch of episodes, but I don't know. After, maybe because I binged it a lot more regularly, but after a while, I started feeling like her voice is kind of grating on my ear. I don't know.
No, I didn't have a particular extra issue with her voice this season.
Her I had no issues with. Vingard was a little grating, and another dragon character was also a little grating as well. But they were only in one episode each, so it wasn't a major deal.
Oh, I think I know which dragon character, but I think I found it awesome rather than
Really?
annoying. Yeah,
Well,
interested.
but
we'll get
mostly
to...
I'm
because
interested if we're talking
mostly
about the
because I
same
know the
character.
actor.
I'm interested if we're talking about the same character then.
Yeah,
So
yeah, same.
we'll see. We'll see.
But I mean,
Like
overall thoughts.
about that, it's you get what you see. It's what you get. It's a kids show, but at the same time, it's not insulting or
Oh,
anything.
oh,
It,
I enjoyed this season more than season one. I
uh,
think.
I won't say I enjoyed either season over each other. I think they're like really, you know, they're they're in the same quality. Take it as you will.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I think it is more of the same. Like, I wouldn't expect to come into this season expecting anything majorly new or different, but I still had fun with it, and I would agree. I think I enjoyed this season a lot more. I think this season had a lot more of those fun and just kind of funny moments. I found myself chuckling a lot more at some of the stuff, intentional or unintentional. Beside the point, I still found myself smiling and chuckling at a little bit more of this season than I did
Actually,
the previous season.
something that I do want to point out is that I think the animation in this season got better, and I mean that in terms of visuals and even some slapstick moments which were not usually which we don't usually see in How to Train a Dragon. There are slapstick, there is slapstick, but not to in Tom and Jerry degree.
Yeah.
But some of the expressions and movements and comedic timing was actually better in this season. I will give
think
them that.
that was a lot more detail in the animation as well. I think.
Yeah.
I don't have direct comparisons, but it did a lot more with the eyes and eyebrows. I feel like rather than not.
Yet there wasn't as much kind of standing around and smiling and blinking.
Yeah.
There was a bit of
Yeah.
that, but there wasn't as much of it. It felt. It felt
Well,
like
I
characters
really
moved
liked
a
it.
bit more.
I really liked the shot where Dax threw off the hammer from the cliff, and they're all just standing there on the cliff on a zoom out shot, and you just see Winger going like, "All right, I'll get it." I like that. That's nice.
So since we're going, there's actually in one point one of the later episodes, there's actually a moment where I'm like, I need to give this. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I need to give this. And I'll point it out when we get there. So spoilers, if anyone cares.
Nobody does.
This is the spoilers segment of the podcast. So now we're going into cover each episode and some of our thoughts more specifically, and we'll spoil a little bit more of it. Beforehand, you just got our general, overall, mostly non-spoilerish thoughts.
Yeah.
So from this point
All right,
forward,
let's-
spoilers.
Let's
Still here.
crack open the cult one. There we go. Episode
Okay.
time.
Yeah. So episode 1, Double Finked. So apparently Magnus has a nephew.
Yes, I hated him immediately. I'll be honest. I was just like, when he came off the ship already, I was just like, oh, I'm not gonna like you as a character.
Something. Can we talk about his name for a second?
Axel.
What kind of name is Axel in Viking times? Again, this is like the same problem I had with Heather in Race to the Edge. Like, you have names like Magnus and Deck and Lila and.
Well, I mean, you also have Astrid, so we can't really complain too much.
Yeah, true. But at the same time, you don't really see Astrid around as much as you see a Heather. And then here it's more like you get names like Deck, Lila, and Duggard, and all of a sudden you see this Kingdom Hearts character walking around, and it's like, wait.
Well, I mean, Magnus didn't really fit in anyway, but
I mean, to be fair, we also have characters like Marina, or another character. Yeah, another character we see later this season specifically as well, and it's like they definitely don't fit in either.
Okay, but still, Axel is the name that maybe because again I'm kind of out of the Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC, so maybe that name is engraved in my brain in the wrong way. But anyway, yeah, nothing really special to this kid, and the annoying part is that I think they could actually do something interesting with it because they kind of set him up to be like maybe a double agent or like or someone who's looking for to be reformed or something.
Yeah, they
And all
kind of
this
give this idea that he kind of just wants attention and he wants someone to care about him, right? And
Yeah.
he thinks he tricks people in order to get that attention, and he thinks he's going to get it from his uncle Magnus, and he never does, and they kind of never go with that. I'm guessing they're probably setting it up for a future season if they get one.
Yeah, because it's like it happens and then never brought up again.
Yeah, I kind of hope so that they're setting it up because it's just right now it just feels pointless.
Like,
Really.
Yeah, because
it's mostly
it's
just
like
Magnus being a kind of a dick of an uncle. This is all
Yeah.
of my work. Do the thing, Axel. All your work. Just constantly in the background,
Actually-
Axel's comments. That kind of endeared me a little bit to the character. Him playing off of Magnus and his like overt silliness and trying to be a bit of the straight man while also being silly as well. That kind of endeared me a little bit to the character. But
You know
overall, I would
something?
agree.
Later
wasn't
episodes, yeah,
my
sure.
wasn't my favorite. I'll agree.
by the way, but he does make the best joke: how to train a dragon.
No.
Get it? This was
Yes, I did.
painful.
I did get it, and I didn't want it.
Boo, that joke.
By the way, speaking of which, the reason, like on the same ship Axel comes on, like apparently there's a package delivered to the rescue riders for some reason, which is a purple dragon egg. So guess who taught Spyro? This was so much like I'm like, please let Spyro hatch out of this, please.
Instead,
There's a
we get
Skylanders How to Train Dragon crossover.
Instead, we get the roaming Ramblefang, which
Yeah,
Did
I
you
have a
think-
question.
did you think this dragon was a bit overly designed? Because
You know-
man, this dragon was very colorful and like had a lot going on.
You know what I got from it? I got the chicken from Moana. Like, what was his name? Hey. Like,
That's a fair
like,
point.
yeah, it makes the same sound as a chicken. It also looks into the dead air like that one chicken, and it's like, oh, somebody saw Moana and said we need that character in here.
I mean, if we have Magnus's nephew, why can't it be Stormfly's nephew? Just whatever.
But I'll give them credit if they actually aimed for this. A chicken dragon is not something we've seen thus far. So
We
In
saw a
this
lot
show,
of
you mean.
things. We saw a lot of things we've not seen thus far in this show.
yeah, that's something I'll actually give them credit. The animals that the dragons are based on are actually pretty creative. I'll give them that. So, but one thing I didn't get about the chicken thing is that he takes a liking to Axel right away because that's the first person he sees, so he thinks, oh, mother and stuff. And then they're actually working on getting the dragon away from him. And then you see the dragon actually looking at him with the rescue riders flying up in the air. And it's like, oh, so now he doesn't like him anymore? Like, all he took is to, like, take him away, and now he's not obsessed. Okay,
Oh,
that was easy.
no, I mean, they put a replacement back down,
Yeah, the fake
right?
elbow.
The doll.
Okay,
Yeah.
right,
Which,
yeah.
by the way, makes me question, how did they get that back in later episodes?
Backup elbow.
Um,
Backup, fake elbow number 2.
Yeah.
Always
Uh,
gotta have
oh.
your extra fake elbow.
Yeah, probably. Actually, one thing, because we basically
No,
covered
wait.
the main plot.
Remember,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, in a later episode, Elbone even sees that fake dummy of him and says, "Oh, that's his brother Albone." So
Yeah.
no, that's a different dummy. They left the Elbone dummy with the roaming Ramblefang, and what you see
right.
in later episodes is Albone.
I see. That's fair enough. Yeah. They look so alike. That's weird.
But one thing I do want to mention about this episode, the way that since we covered the actual plot point, there's a point in the episode starts with like Deck attempting bungee jumping after he sees how Layla does it, and it's
Right.
like they're constantly building up the fact that he's practicing until he gets it. But then at the end of the episode, he doesn't. It's Layla that needs to do it and save the day. So it's like character
Yeah.
development.
I feel like that was like, as a kid show you need to be like, oh, morals, whatever. But I feel like the writers put that in as like, oh, we can teach about having to get feedback and process it or whatever, and then they just
And
never
that
do
kind
anything
of
with
like,
it.
you
Yeah,
can't be
because it
the
feels like
idea that-
it could have been like try your best until and eventually you succeed. And so it's like if you fail to do something, pray to God your sister is around to help you with this.
I think it's also
Just mess
the-
it up again.
I think it's also
What?
the-
And it's like, what if I'm an only child? Huh, fuckers? It's like,
Jeez.
am I not good enough by my own? Thanks, show.
I think it's also the idea of one person can't be perfect at everything, right? I think it's also kind of putting forward that idea, like you can't do everything perfectly. It's okay if there's some stuff you can't do that someone else can do better.
And then we have Wingil. He basically throws that message out of the window, but that's another
He's a
problem.
dragon.
Oh, I mean, yeah, dragons are perfect.
So
anyway.
the
But-
dragons also, the dragons also have
No,
arcs in this
no.
show.
No, dragons are perfect. Anyway,
No,
the thing
Berkcast.
is, no, just shush. So
A fair
I
argument.
can't even remember what I want to talk about, honestly.
we were talking about morals and character
So,
development.
bungee jumping. So one thing that I do not understand is how do the dragons not just basically fall flat on the ground when they get tucked down by like a kid that probably weighs 60 kilograms? How?
Because dragons are perfect.
Ah, yes, I remember now. Yes, thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, I guess so. So
I
moving
mean,
on to the
Dragons
next
are so
episode.
perfect they defy logic. I mean, it's pretty simple, I think.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So moving on to episode 2, Dive Wings. And may I say, I didn't expect hidden world references so early on in the show.
Holy
Which
shit!
references?
I didn't. I did not see that. Now I understand. I immediately
what?
get it. He's talking about the fact that they go through a whirlpool, more or less, in order to
Yeah.
get to a hidden cave or a hidden world.
With
right.
lights and everything.
Yeah, no, actually, I did. When they went through the whirlpool, I did already think like, right, this is the hidden world of this series. Then I guess.
We also, by the way, I didn't notice the hidden world reference, but I did notice we had the characters switch the dragons they ride moment, a la Snarlout and Astrid of Definitive.
Yeah, I
from
thought about
Definitive
that
Berk.
too.
And
Actually,
apparently, Summer is really slippery.
Yeah, turns out,
would've guessed?
it's funny that she's slippery even though she has a saddle on her back. So is
I
the
mean-
saddle slippery too?
I mean, let's be honest. If Summer is slippery and the saddle is on her whole day, I mean, that's a fair enough.
Okay.
I think.
By the
So-
way, one thing I do want to, how they say in some of the hidden world behind the scenes that the idea of the interest for the hidden world came from Dindabla's dream, where he saw like this big waterfall at the middle of the at the middle of the ocean. Can you imagine him seeing this episode and being like, "What have they done to my vision? What have they done to my dream?"
I mean, honestly,
Made it better, obviously.
yeah, he'll probably watch that and be like, that's a better representation of my dream. Actually,
So much better.
Shoot, I completely missed the mark.
Should have hired
Okay.
these people.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need a TV budget and not all of the deep pockets of Universal.
But
Oh
I'm
god,
sorry.
honestly, if you've seen that special effects breakdown of that waterfall in Head Train Dragon 3, jeez,
Yeah, I saw that.
that's insane.
but back to this episode.
Right.
So this
back
this
to,
one is
back
about
to this.
this is essentially
Yeah.
This is essentially your recycling episode. Hey, protect the planet, kids, because this
Yeah,
one's all
basically.
about.
Oh yeah, I
Go
do love it. Elbone saying at the end, "Oh, how should I call it? Oh, recycling. I don't know what that is."
Yeah,
Yeah,
reshaping,
that-
refurbishing, like all the rewords.
Yeah,
And
you know,
recycling.
it's one of those. This world probably didn't exist back then, so they tried it and it's like, nah, it will never catch on.
Yeah.
So
Just like Astrid once said, "You're selling water. Nobody will buy that."
yeah,
Yep.
there's I don't remember what fan fiction it was, but it was like that. Toughnut was like commenting on someone looking like someone. It's like it looks like she plays the role of her, but it cost her a lot of money. I'll call it cost play, and I was like, oh.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Did they actually do that?
Yeah, back to the show. So
Yeah.
it's not in an official thing. It was in a fanfic.
Oh, they would.
Okay,
I
got
could
you.
see this franchise doing it as an official thing though, joke wise as well. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not that far
Oh,
off the mark. Humor was.
There's that episode which he has a shark carpet. Do you see how we really try to escape rescue riders right now? It's like,
Oh, hi, Rush.
God.
Okay, Rush joined the call, but he's muted. So okay, sure. We'll see where this goes. But anyway, back to the episode. Still on episode 2.
I like
So
the design of the dive wings. Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
give the show
they were
credit.
cool,
Like
right.
they do have some nice designs here and there, and the dive wings I think were a good one.
Plus, there's a good distinction between male and female dragons.
yeah,
There's
the,
There's not the. There's not the.
I want to
No,
say
no,
in terms
what,
of,
the-
in
the-
terms
the-
of personality.
Oh yes, you're right. There
is
actually
some.
is. There is
Yeah.
some actual physical design differences. You're absolutely right. I agree.
The female dive wing has a fin on her head, and the male one doesn't.
Oh, I actually didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Thanks for telling me.
I noticed
Um,
immediately. Eye for detail.
This episode, I like the idea behind it, but then there's the entire I so didn't want them to do the cliche we took care of it, and then it turns out they didn't. It's like, I knew we shouldn't trust you humans, and it's like, oh come on, do we really need to do this every time this plot is attempted?
Yeah, I mean, honestly.
I mean, this one's pretty basic. You've seen it before, but that you can say that for a lot of the episodes, story-wise.
Yeah,
like
but
you've kind of seen it before. It's not doing anything
but-
new or different or unique, really.
Yeah. Well, but I'm trying to remind myself that this could be a kid's first time seeing this plot point in anything, but at the same time, it's like.
It's a bit bare
Fair.
bones, isn't it? Don't throw shit into the water. All right.
Speaking of throwing shit into stuff, how's it going, guys?
Yeah, hi Rush.
Mhm.
Throwing me into the mix here. I know you guys are doing Dragon's Rescue Riders. This is the second season, I
Yes.
believe,
Yes.
right? Okay, good. I've been keeping up with your videos then.
God.
You know, I
should-
actually
you
I
should.
realized I was able to do it this morning, but then it's like, oh shit, you guys are that means I would have had to watch the second season very quickly.
I mean, to be
And
honest,
I'm
I haven't even
assuming-
finished season 1 yet.
And I'm assuming you didn't.
Why would I?
Because
Fair.
it's the best dragons thing.
This
We've
is true.
just discussed this.
Literally, Rush, this is the best video. Season 1 was the best video we've put out. Over 6K views. Our most watched
Very
video.
nice. Wow, you guys get better after I leave. Watch how this plummets.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
So, I
I
mean-
think I'll just replace you at this point.
Yeah.
It was all I credit Ian for this, but
Thank you.
Yeah,
Very
I mean,
nice.
I think it says something about the fandom, though, too, that, the fandom loves Rescue Riders more than they do How to
Oh,
Train Your Dragon.
More than
Oh,
they love
Okay.
the
Actual movies.
Okay. All your hate
Actually,
mail
it's up to
goes-
7.3K views, I believe.
No, it's 7.3K.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I said. 7.3K views.
Oh,
okay, I
wow.
thought you said 3K.
Even higher
They-
All right.
Oh,
well,
God.
I'll
Why do
I'll try
people
and
keep
find something
watching
new.
it?
of all of those things.
I love that they do, though. I love that they do. Continue
Yeah,
to watch
Yeah.
that. 10K. I want that video at 10K.
That's gonna be our most viewed. Hold on, let me see what our most viewed video is. Sort by most popular, and it is
It must
that
be Rescue
one.
Riders. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. The only second, only one that comes close is my comic reading, which doesn't even come to 1K yet.
Thanks, Leffy.
Ha, I'm more popular than you, Lef.
Oh,
Get me.
this is
Wow.
not the Valhalla server. Do not keep this here. I'm
Okay, fine.
Back to the
There you
show,
go.
though.
Back to the
Back
show.
to
I'll
the
leave you guys going. I'll try.
Yeah.
Send me the next one. I'll try and be on for that then.
okay.
man.
Thank you,
I'll
thank
try
you,
and bring
Rush.
things down.
Okay, thank you, Rush.
Yep.
So that was fun.
Episode 3.
So episode 3, Mecha Menace.
Oh god, and
aside-
here is the freaking thing.
Yeah, aside from the fact that I almost confused that with the Sonic the Hedgehog boss, let's go into this. This is the first. This is the first. This is the first appearance of the Mecha Dragon. Magnus and Axel's new invention, and
Magnus's.
Fair
Axel-
point. Fair point.
Just Magnus's invention.
Actually, you know something? This was the episode where again I kept forgetting that Netflix changes the dub language after every episode, and then they talk in Hebrew, and I have a heart attack thinking, what is going on?
They only do that for you. They don't do that.
Yeah,
here.
I don't know why.
I
This
don't
is-
have that problem.
Oh yeah, do you now?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you can't choose any dub.
Yeah, because as you know,
No.
Wolf's main language is bullshit, and the kids shows are not made in that language. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's only that language.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, it kept changing, and after this episode, I took notice. But again, it's so weird. And you know what was my indication after this is that for the theme song, every time you do like the skip the intro thing, you know, so they skip you like to the last few notes of the theme song.
Mhm.
So I know if it's in Hebrew, they'll go if it's English, they go whoa, whoa. So it's like, okay, now
Yeah,
I know.
so-
By the way, I
Yeah,
love
the end
this
is
thing
like,
song.
world. That's
I
when you
love
do
this
skip
theme
intro.
song.
You just get
No,
It's
I don't
alright.
skip this intro.
It's-
I actually like this. I would listen to this outside of this show because it's actually halfway decent running music as well too. I would listen to this.
Running music.
good.
running music.
It's good. It's
I
actually
can
really good.
You know, I would
It
like.
gets you kind of tapping your feet to it and everything.
You know,
It's
I'm just
catchy.
thinking about theme song that you would listen to while you walk out. Spectacular Spider-Man, Dragons Rescue Riders, genius. Okay, but I get what Wolf means though. It
It's a
has a
catchy
good
song.
beat.
It has a
You
good
know,
beat.
it
and
has
the
a good-
lyrics
yeah.
are very catchy.
Yes, but I still press
you know-
skip intro.
I won't, I won't say catchy because like after I hear it, I heard it like a few times, but nothing of it is stuck in my head.
Everybody needs a
So
hero,
that-
someone to save the day. We have a
Wolf.
Oh
No.
god, seriously. You actually know.
Okay. We'll have a karaoke at the end, but first
No, we
episode
won't.
3.
No,
I mean, I know the monologues of How to Train Dragon, but otherwise I don't know that much.
This is Berk. We are watching the ripoff of ours called Huts Galore.
It's burnt. So they've known. Anyway, everybody knows that. So
There were kids shows when I was a boy. Okay. Anyway,
that was
so,
fancy content
yes.
when I was a boy.
Magnus
So, yeah,
invents
this-
a mechanical dragon, further cementing the idea that he is somehow related to Hiccup, or is Hiccup in the future or in the past.
you know,
or something.
I did want to talk about this. That we all make the joke that he's evil Hiccup, but you know what? Like this season, I finally realized what kind of character he reminds me of. He reminds me of Neo Cortex from Crash Bandicoot.
What?
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
It's the haircut, it's the voice. That's what he reminds me.
I can see it. I could see it.
Jesus.
I could see
I
it.
think somebody's home.
Well, since I can't catch this bandicoot, I might as well go for those rescue runs. There you go. Anyway, he and Axel built this mecha dragon which is intended to replace the riders. And the thing is, I like how this nature versus machine battle is ended by planting seeds. That's the end all be all in this episode.
One thing that really irritated me is basically that Burple makes the comment that it has wings, but it may not fly, and then Slicer goes, "Oh, what has wings and doesn't fly?" And I just go, "A damn chicken."
A pink one.
Like seriously. I mean, come on. But whatever.
Yeah, but it is interesting though that this is not like we mentioned. This is not a one-off, and this is something that actually comes back.
Yeah, the Mechano
it's the
dragon
only
comes
thing.
back many
It's literally
times.
It's literally the only thing Magnus does in this season. It's
Which-
it has to,
Yeah, basically.
has there been any other invention from him
He does.
except for the hay bill maker?
Don't say such things about the haymaker backer thing or whatever it was.
Except for that, there's nothing else he invents.
Actually, I think it's also in this episode where they claim that they are celebrating something, and they're saying like, oh, we have this festival which is like high tangled, with the lanterns and everything, and then there's also the thing like, oh, there's like, what fell?
Nothing. It's fine.
and they're actually making fun of the fact that you have festivals for festivals, and it's like, yeah, it's coming out later, and that's also something that carries on this in the final
A
episode.
neat little bit
Yes.
of foreshadowing. A nice
We
little
actually
thing.
know the time frame of these episodes now.
A little
Yeah.
bit. If you want a timeline, you can now make one. Technically.
You'll see like in YouTube, like the Dragons Rescue Riders chronology, what happened at what time.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you follow my fan theory, then all of this is either one big fever dream by take your pick of one of the kids, either Dak or Layla. My pick is Layla, of the fact that she's just basically all of her family is dead, and so she's just trapped on this island with a bunch of dragons, and this is her escape, right? This is the dark fan theory, or the fact that this entire village gets wiped out and Fingard later becomes the Drago.
I still support the theory that Dak and Layla are actually Dagor and Mala's kids.
It's not as
Um,
dark though.
No.
Well,
The
unless
Dagor
character
and-
always has to have a dark backstory, remember?
I guess technically
Yeah.
that means you are killing Dagger and Mala, so
Yeah, there you go. And considering how popular Dagger is, yeah, I'm sorry, Voyager, if you're listening to this.
But to be fair to Magnus and his mechanical dragon, the reason he, to be fair to him and him focusing so much on this one invention, he does technically invent steam power and electricity. What, a couple hundred or 1,000 years before it's ever a
Yeah,
thing?
that's actually a thing that people are like, oh, okay, they take away his prize from him after the dragon goes berserk, and it's like, yeah, he destroyed the village, but he still deserves some sort of credit. That is pretty impressive for this timeline. Just because it ended up being bad doesn't mean we can't appreciate it.
And he invented air travel too, actually, thinking about that as well. So yeah, he invented like multiple things hundreds or if not thousands of years before they became invented.
By the
go
way, I
Magnus.
love how in order to operate this thing, there are pedals. And as someone who can stand pedaling, I'm like, okay, I'm not flying this
Well,
thing.
for this version, there's pedals. Later on, there's no pedals.
Okay, you're right, but still, I saw pedaling and I'm like, ugh, bad memories.
What I mean, apparently he can pedal hard enough to make the wings flap hard enough to fly, which
Yeah.
is impressive.
Axel got some
Yep.
leg strength.
Axel has some leg strength, yeah.
Thunder
Yeah.
thighs.
Well, when all of them, and there are actually some, I'm not sure if it's in this episode, but overall there are like whenever that Mangus actually threatens this kid like you'd better not have any mistakes, so I'm throwing you out, and it's like jeez.
Yeah, Magnus is his dick to his nephew.
Yeah, that was like ugh. Okay, but anything else to say about episode 3, or are we moving on?
It's alright.
So, episode 4, Summer Holiday. Can I just say the beginning of this episode is such a mood? Like, they're all so tired and like, okay, I'll do this and I'll do this. And they're like all so beat down and done with the routine. And I'm like, I can relate.
Fair.
This kids show actually got human emotion and
Okay,
feelings at the
but-
start.
But the only thing they were tired of was Fingard.
And
Yeah,
having to
but
rescue
still.
him.
Literally the only thing they were tired of. Not necessarily their whole routine. It was just Fingard.
Yeah, actually, you know how we made comparisons in previous seasons about in the previous season about how characters are like the not characters from the origin. Can we just agree that Fingard is the not what's his name, Gustav?
Yeah.
He wants to be a part of them, but then he messes everything up, and then we have the entire. Oh no, he told something about him behind his back, and he's going, and it's like I don't care because he's actually annoying and stuff. Yeah, but speaking of annoying, this is I said it before, I'll say it now. I don't like Wingel. And it's not just because he has nothing to him as sort of leader catchphrases. In this, everyone is beat. Everyone wants a vacation. And it's just like, let's train. Let's set up a perimeter. Let's do this. It's like, shut up.
But
Just shut up.
That is character though. Like he's a workaholic. He cares too much. Like he can't
Yeah,
relax.
but-
He doesn't
but
know how to. That
you
is
know what?
character, HC.
You know what? Okay, credit. It's a character. But you want to know something else? I hate this type of character. I hate this. Let's go as it's like, no, let's walk out more. Let's do more stuff.
As much
It's like, I need my rest, you
It's a
asshole.
rip.
I
You're
mean,
not getting any
as
input
much
now.
as I like Winger, that was quite irritating. Yeah,
I mean, I think
that was not great.
if you ask me to name the weakest episode of this season, I would say it's this one because Fingard's a bit too annoying and Winger's not that great in this one either, and a lot of the cast is just kind of meh with this episode. And this episode in general is just kind of, all right, yeah, this happened. This was our vacation episode, a la Race to the Edge's vacation episode.
Yeah, but
don't know.
but the thing is that the thing with Rest of the Edge is that most of the characters are likable. Here, most of them aren't. So
Oh no! I find the characters.
you found the
likable enough.
character.
Yeah, I would say that. They're likable.
I would, something. I would say that I really like Agro and Cuddle, just because, I actually want them to take that nap on that rock and not be bothered.
I'll admit, seeing them napping the way they were napping, that was adorable.
Yeah.
that's true.
You know what? I'll just make this my screensaver and be in a happy world where they actually got that nap, and no one bothered them.
I mean, they got a little nap.
Yeah,
Just
but
a
it's
little
not
one.
enough. By the way,
Power nap.
how come outside of outside of that mad scientist, the main villain of this show is basically wolves.
Oh yeah. This
Like,
the beginning of the season was horrible with wolves. It was just constant wolves. No offense, but but it was
I mean,
it was
I was
quite
going
irritating.
to make a joke. Like, I don't know if I should feel offended or, what I should think, because going by wolf and just the amount of wolf abuse in this show. Constant wolf abuse.
Yeah.
I mean,
But you know, this
yeah.
is the annoying kid, annoying kid looking up to his idols episode, and they say something about him behind his back that insults him, and then he ends up saving the day, and they forgive him. All is well. Next episode 5.
Also, quick note about the eels. The
Yeah.
dragons in this don't seem too bothered about eels. Is that just a?
Summer's not, because she's a water dragon. I think they covered that in the
yeah,
previous
there was-
season. But the other ones
yeah,
are a
there was
little
something
bit
about that.
afraid, quote unquote.
Yeah, but
Yeah, there was an
they
episode in
still
the previous
fight.
season.
Like, I'm pretty sure in Hat Train Dragon they don't even get close to them. They're just like, yeah,
No, they
get
don't.
out.
But I mean, in this
No.
one, they kind of fight them a little bit, but not too much.
It's
It's
you
one
know,
of those
it's not
things.
necessarily fight them. It's like get away, get away, get away, get away.
Get away now, get away. Anyway,
Oh no.
see the episode.
So
Episode
episode 5, Treasure Riders. I think Wolf's favorite episode.
I don't know about my favorite, but it's definitely my favorite character, Rodando del Mundo. I love this character. This is his intro, and this is. I love the
His
fact
only
that
episode.
his only episode.
I
I
hope
love the
it's
fact
coming
that
back.
I love the fact that his name is just Waldando of the Earth. Like, that's what Del Mundo, if I'm not mistaken, translates to. It's ridiculous. It's silly, and I love him. And him and Morena in the same episode together was just great. Just so much
By the
playing off
way-
of one another.
Yeah, by the way, Morena, she's only in this episode as well. Like, she's not coming back after this.
Yeah. Only this episode she's been in. Yeah. I guess the actress is just really expensive.
Who knows? But yeah, so we meet this
Old
Waldando.
Spanish Viking adventurer. Travels around with the staff. and can
Spanish
dodge-
Viking adventurer.
I mean, that's
Say-
what the character is.
No,
It's
just
not
say
quite
that.
Viking, right?
Yeah,
Doesn't say
He's a
It's
Viking
just-
in spirit.
Spanish Vikings. You know something? Why the hell not?
I mean, I think in real world history, Vikings did travel that way, so it's possible.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's actually true.
There's literally no information on Wiki about him.
Yeah, there's no information about the entire show at all, about anything hardly.
Hmm.
We're that on the bleeding edge of Dragons fandom
You
right
know,
now.
I'll bet you
We
that
are the
if you
Waldando
told,
of the fandom.
I think if people actually told the creators of the show that hey, I'm impressed that you knew that Vikings actually sailed in the Spanish seas, and they're like, oh yeah, we totally knew that. Yeah,
100%.
it's
We are
like
positive.
But Waldando's fun. This is an episode of, Waldando's here supposedly seeking a treasure, and surprise, surprise, Waldando betrays them. The treasure he was seeking was the dragons and the rescue riders, because he's going to try and sell them. Morena knew it all along from the very beginning, and she had a plan. And they stop
Yep.
Waldando, and Morena and Burple save the day.
By the way, that that Odin's thing, I don't remember what it's
Odin's gem.
Yeah, Odin's gem. That's a chaos emerald. You can't tell me otherwise. This
Yeah,
is a
it is.
chaos.
Actually,
As soon as I saw this, I'm like, da 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 da.
I honestly think there's not one in that specific color, so it can't be a Chaos Emerald.
It's blue, so there's a blue and there's a cyan one. So yeah.
You're actually
there
looking
is.
it up.
Oh, yeah, actually,
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, I suppose so.
And this is why you are only the second
Wow.
Sonic fan of the server.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough.
Anyway, but yeah, overall I did enjoy this episode, and like Will said, Miranda and
Morena
I
and Waldando.
yeah, Waldando and Miranda actually have good
Classic
chemistry.
Morena.
And I did enjoy the little fight scenes they had. The fight choreography was actually pretty
That was
pretty
not too
fun.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was not
and
too bad.
I like, however, that whenever Miranda is trying to fly with Burple, but he catches them with a rope, and it's like, Nobody thinks about, shooting fire on that rope, and that rope is no longer a problem. But no, we need to, we need to Omega slide on it and have a fight scene in order to free it. And okay, sure.
By the by, I love the fact that Morena and both Waldando ride on the dragons, like standing up or kneeling. And I want to
Yeah.
point out,
Like Hiccup in the Hidden World poster.
but I want to point out though, when we first see Waldando riding on Winger, they do that bank turn, and you just have Waldando kneeling on the dragon while it's doing that bank turn. It's like, good God, that dude's posture must be like rock solid for him to just basically be on his knees sideways in the air and not slide off of Winger while not holding onto anything.
I mean, to be honest, you gotta give him credit for at least kind of thinking about him making a turn and just being like, maybe you should kind of go for his knees a bit.
This would have been, funny if they actually made animated bloopers of this, and then it's like, yeah, I'm sure about this position. Oh,
Marina, I didn't touch you.
yeah. So this was actually a fun episode, and I did, and so I did enjoy the way he trapped them was actually, an interesting plot on his part. I'll give them that.
There's one irritating point, right? So they flew to the island.
Mhm.
Right. It's not a huge island per se.
Yeah.
How did they not spot the ship from the sky?
I mean, Cutter didn't see it. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, if you see a ship at that island and there's got to be one treasure somewhere, you'd probably just gonna be
I
like,
think
let's check the ship first.
I mean, to be fair, if we're doing that, why was Odin's eye supposedly dropped by the god Odin himself on a ship, anyways?
Yeah, I think it's one of I think it's one of those. It's because plot.
Yeah. Still irritating.
Then on top of that, it's like
They could have made it a cave.
This is true. On top of that, though, you have the entire issue of why did Marina even bother with this adventure when she knew she had Odin's eye all along with her?
No, because she said no, right? She
I
said,
know.
no, I'm not going to go. But the reason she gives why she did go is because the rescue riders were dumb enough to be like, oh, we'll go. And she was like, oh, you idiots.
Yeah, she does say that. She does say that, she had no interest in going, but since they were going, she wanted to protect them.
That's basically
fair.
why.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And that's why Burple was left behind, because she probably knew she already has Odin's eyes. It's like, he's probably BSing us.
By the way, I like how their ultimate solution that nobody would ever find that stone is to let Burple eat it and just keep it in his stomach.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there's someone crazy enough to still try and get that, but whatever. Let's just not think about that.
Yeah, please no. And moving on to the next episode. Episode 6. Tough enough. Yeah, I'll give the episode this credit. The dragon idea is creative because we didn't really have dragons based on any kind of fish, so it's interesting to see like a pufferfish.
Oh, the pufferfish thing is pretty cool. One thing that was immediately irritating after a couple minutes is when she puffs up with Slicer. One problem. How did none of Slicer's actual talons go through the buffer tail?
His name's Cutter, by the way. Not
Cutter.
Slicer. Yes, Cutter.
Oh, well, Slicer.
Yeah, I was like, who's
Cutter.
Slicer?
Fine, Cutter.
None
of
that's
Cutter's
a good. Again, that's a good point, but I don't think it's one of the points that the show makers really want you to think about.
Because at one point they try and stop the Puffertail from reaching Cutter, probably because of that reason.
Yeah.
What? I just don't understand the inconsistency.
Oh, what
silliness.
can you
Well, I
do?
mean, they weren't really trying to stop her from getting popped on Cutter, I suppose you could say, but they were trying to, um, you know, stop Cutter from getting hit again because he was hit a lot in this episode.
Oh yeah.
Like he was the
And
butt of a lot of slapstick comedy of just getting landed on a lot.
Yeah. And I think it's in this episode where I said there's the GIF moment where it's like that they try to train the pufferfish dragon to shoot fire, and then there's just this shot of like Layla, Summer, Burple, Cutter, and Agro just looking at the camera, which is supposed to be held in like awe, and there's like the barrel with a bit of fire, and Summer is like,
right.
quickly put it down. This needs to be a GIF. I don't know what the usage.
Practice. Yeah.
I don't know what the usage for it will be, but we need to make this a GIF. Somebody make that a GIF.
So, this was the dragon character I was talking about where I wasn't too fond of her voice, to be honest. Was this the one you were talking about?
Then we are not talking about the same dragon.
I didn't think we were, because the two dragons that come up next later on, those voices, one of them's familiar, but one of them I definitely know the name of, I'm pretty sure. It's been a little bit, but I definitely know both of them. I've heard their voices before and their work. But yeah, this one, I wasn't quite as fond of her voice. It did grate on me a little bit, so this episode wasn't also my favorite.
But at the same time, kind of like with most voice acting in this show, I don't really blame the actors, but it's kind of also the dialogue, because we've seen this character before, we've seen this conflict before, and it's not really done any better here.
Vanguard, but in dragon form now, more or less is what it is.
Yeah. You know what? Basically, yeah.
So we kind of had two of those episodes in this season, just one with a human, another with a dragon. Which it wasn't. This wasn't a terrible episode. Zeppela, the dragon character we see in this episode, was a neat design, was fun, but it just wasn't really my favorite.
But I think the thing, what kind of bugs me, that the message of the episode is supposedly that whatever, you don't need to be like the people around you. What you have is good enough, and you'll find the things that you can do with what you have, which is, the thing that you can puff like that helps them get out of the, of the quicksand at the end. Yeah. But at the same time, again, this is a good message, especially again in this kind of world, kids. This is a great message to teach, that you don't need to follow anyone around you. You need to focus on your own strength.
Yeah.
That's great. But the thing is that it gets so long to get to this message. Like the entire quicksand climax, I figured it out, like 5 minutes before it actually happens.
Quicksand climax. Can we just quicksand climax?
I mean,
I'm going to kill you after this is done.
You said it, not me.
I mean,
yeah, but I meant it not in this way.
That's not how I meant
this
it.
This is
either.
a kids'
I just
show.
thought it was fun. That's not how I. To be fair, you say that, but we had a joke from Cutter of pulling on my spike. Come on, Joe. I know what you meant by that.
They probably didn't. They might do it in that Train Dragon, but they will definitely not do it here.
No, yes, they would. Have you seen kids shows in the past? Yes, they do.
That's one irritating thing. There's one irritating thing of Cutter kept going on about names for her squad, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at one point he suggests the Puffer Patrol. And I was just like, you could have made such an obvious reference to Paw Patrol here by just doing Puff Patrol. That would have been way better. But
do you want
well,
them to
you
make
can't
that
win
reference,
them all.
though? Do you want them to make that reference, though?
I mean, it's another kid show, so they might as well.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So, like I said about episode 6, good message, half-baked execution.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So
do you
episode.
think we'll ever see anything of the Dragon Squad or whatever she named it?
Yeah, I doubt it. First of all, let's see if we ever get another season. I mean, it's possible, seeing how we got this.
I mean, honestly, yeah, the second season just came out of nowhere, so...
I hope this show continues on to be as long as Race to the Edge, if not longer.
Oh,
I mean,
I hope it does.
maybe we'll talk about it in the end for expectations or whatever, but it is coming to NBC's service, so...
We'll talk about this at the end.
Yeah, at the end,
but
yeah.
So episode 7, hot, and it's not what I'm saying whenever I touch the stove while I'm cooking, but that's so this episode.
It's also not anything sexy, like hot.
I was actually thinking about that joke, but then I said,
So, the story behind this episode is Agro is trying to hide, the fact that she's molting and shedding scales, and basically just it's your kind of, oh, I'm getting older, and I don't want people to know that I'm getting older because it's embarrassing, and everyone gets older. It's okay, kids.
I don't get, I get it. Again, kids shows have done this before. They, I don't want you to know because
it's the same idea as like zits or pimples, right? Like that kind of episode.
Yeah, but at the same time, is getting older really what you're going with being ashamed at? It's science. Kids know that they're getting older.
The thing for kids as well is it's more awesome when they get older because they get a lot more responsibility. Well, not necessarily responsibility, but more freedom. Mm-hmm. So getting older is better for kids. So I find it a bit of a weird message here.
Yeah. Maybe if it was something else that but the other thing I want to bring up here is that there's the entire thing where it's like, again, with kind of drowning the climax. Actually, wait, what I'm talking about, this is the episode, I think. This is the episode where we get the How to Train Your Dragon soundtrack playing.
Yes, that surprised me so much.
In the beginning.
Yes, because
it's
at
the start,
dream from Burple.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that when this plays, I'm like, wait, did I shuffle music on my laptop? Wait, it caught me so off guard. I was sure I accidentally put the soundtrack on YouTube or played it off my computer or something. It's like, nope, that's in the episode.
Yeah,
that was surprising.
It sounded like the intro for Riders and Defenders of Berk. It didn't necessarily sound like anything from the soundtracks. It just sounded like a length version of the intro or something.
No, actually, I think this is Belk, the track.
Yeah, I think the intro for Riders and Defenders and all that used a part of This Is Berk as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Not necessarily Defenders or Riders, but more necessarily the Race to the Edge intro, which is also uses the This Is Belk idea.
No, that's Dragon Racing, right? That's the
Dragon Racing does have a bit of This Is Belk in it.
Sure.
Let's call it Paddock, King of the Wilderness.
Yeah, let's call Haddock.
In the middle of the show, ring, 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 ring. Yeah. We need you to solve a dispute about the soundtrack of How to Train Your Dragon.
And Haddock would be like, I am not watching that show.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy them. I'll be honest.
I was surprised, but
they completely. Fun. No, I kind of got annoyed at that because they never used it.
Oh no!
Up until this point.
Yep.
Well, I was like,
and actually,
I thought you were going completely separate from it, but apparently not.
To be fair, though, they did throw in a lot of references to the franchise in general in this season. It felt like, hey, How to Train Your Dragon fans, we know you're watching this. You like this show. The Berkcast proves it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still based on the books, so.
Yeah, but something, I think I noticed more references in the first season than this one.
Really?
But I'll say this in terms of quantity, I noticed more in the first season. But in terms of how direct they are, they were a lot more direct in this season.
I mean, fair enough. In the first season, you had them this is hot galore.
Yeah,
and
you
stuff,
know,
but
because you know you have the monologue introducing the island. You have all of a sudden you hear like power blast instead of plasma, but the
oh, they still do
basics.
that here.
Mega
Yeah,
Blast.
but I mean in terms, this was introduced in the previous season, not this one. So
Okay, that's
it-
fair enough. Fair.
But another thing, at the end of the episode, is it me or they remix this? You know that this is Belk, and that is Belk track. Like you all of a sudden hear a lot more drums in it and stuff to try and make it more quote unquote epic.
Oh yeah, they definitely like made the tracks more, pop more. Like there's more. Again, like I think this is designed for like those really young kids, where like 5 and less year olds, where you can set them down in front of the TV, and they're gonna see all the colors and the movement, and they're gonna hear those really kind of pop rock songs, right? And they're gonna be dancing around and jumping and having fun. Like that's what it's designed for. So yeah, they
Oh,
definitely
You know
did that to
something
this
that
track.
when I heard the drums with that music score, I'm like, if I may break the amount of times I referenced Sonic in one episode, like, oh God, we need to remix this thing. Somebody call Cash and their drummer. That's whoever got that reference
Oh, God.
got that reference.
I did.
Great.
But the episode.
Yeah, so the episode is, there's a bit of me that's actually really annoyed that it's Burple that ends up saving Agro from the volcano,
I don't
and
mind it.
We
I don't mind that it's him doing it. Don't get me wrong. And also, I kind of it will have to be him because the episode starts with him having a dream. It was basically the fish legs episode, in a sense.
Yeah.
Right.
So I got it was supposed to be him, but then the show kind of fakes you out that he doesn't, but then he does it, and they kind of have this idea to get Magnus and
this
his
is our.
mechanical dragon 2.0.
Yep.
This doesn't work, and then it is Burple, and it's like, so just make it that Burple saves her. Why not? Why go to that? I tried, but I couldn't make it. Oh wait, now I can. Just keep it to the end.
I kind of forgot that this episode was the introduction of McKenna Dragon Part 2.
Yeah.
It's so small in this one. Like it's very much kind of in the background of this one.
Oh yeah. Oh no. I mean, they did have a pretty long introduction.
They do kind of put it a little bit front and center, but it feels a bit more background to basically the entire plot with Aggro. Like that, I think takes more center stage, and you do kind of forget that the Mecha Dragon was in this one.
At the end, yeah, but honestly, until the middle of the episode, I just kind of thought like, oh, Aggro is like sleeping outside or whatever. Oh.
I will give them credit. I liked a little bit of attention to detail that Aggro is bigger from this point forward. She is like, bigger, and she's stronger and stuff like that from this point forward.
Actually, I did really enjoy the shot after Burple supposedly saves her, and then like you see, there's a shot where like she's holding him and she's like glowing a bit, and the lighting and stuff and colors in this shot actually look pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, aside from the Burple fake out, which by the way, another reference to the main franchise, Burple with that armor kind of reminds me of all the armors Hiccup makes Toothless in Race to the Edge.
Not as much. I mean,
I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Let's say like this. It's not. I'm pretty sure if this is not one of the references that the writers had in mind when they made this show.
Oh no, definitely not.
This is most likely a coincidence. I just caught up on that.
Yeah.
So episode 8.
Yeah, I had something to say, but I forgot. So let's continue.
If you remember it later, we can go back. So episode 8, High Anxiety.
So this one is a Hanar episode. We get to see Hanar again. It's been a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. More Scottish accent goodness. But anyway,
We get to see her more than Lady Marina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so another dragon that comes back from previous season, I forgot the
Mama
name of it.
Ironclaw. I don't know her name,
Yeah.
but Mama Ironclaw, I think is
God,
what she's referred to.
I thought it was a bit wrong when they are at the cliff and they try to save her, and then it's like, oh, we have to pull her back, and then the Iron Claw goes, yes, pull Mama back.
Oh God,
was
no!
like, mm,
Oh God, I missed that one. Oh,
all right then.
you can't tell me like that's not on purpose either.
I don't know.
Who knows? I'm wondering if this was actually done with complete innocence out of the writer's point
I
of view.
think so, but I
But
don't
yeah,
know
like
at this point.
the story of this one is.
If they just played the jokes with the censors to say, there's no way this is going to get past, and then it goes by and it's like, oh no.
What have we done?
But
A whole generation of children.
the story of
Yeah,
this one is.
apparently, kind of a sidetrack, but apparently half of the dirty jokes in Animaniacs was just the writers trolling the censors and the censors not getting it.
Yeah, and it going through, and them just going like, lol.
I mean, I
Ooh,
would.
what else you got in there?
I totally would. If it was me, I would definitely be doing that if I was a
Oh,
writer
for
on a
sure.
show.
Yeah, you know what? I would try even if it was one time. I would try to just
Or
try
all
my
the
best.
time. I'd be doing it all the time.
I'm in.
I'm
So
a
the
child.
Well, please let's not write anything together.
Oh, God.
But
This
back
episode
to
is
the
basically Hannah being afraid of heights, and they need her to work on Mama Ironclaw's wing because she can't fly and she needs it to be braced.
yeah.
A blacksmith
That's
being
actually-
a doctor on dragons. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
that's actually something I did like that not only because it reminded me a bit of the stuff we would see in Race to the Edge, but also because these are the rescue riders, so it was nice to see them do actual rescuing.
They do rescue.
Yeah,
from time to
I
time,
know
but-
they do rescue some people and dragons, but wasn't just saving. It was also taking care of and amending wounds and stuff.
Fair
It was nice to see that it's not just rescuing; they're actually going out of the way to help.
Also,
I like that.
Also, the baby Iron Claws. Oh my God, are they cute?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
baby
Jesus.
dragons are always cute.
Oh, but they're so cute. Sorry, the baby. What was it in the first episode?
Okay,
The roaming ramble
okay.
thing. That
Yeah.
one, not quite as cute.
Nah.
Okay,
Chicken
one
dragon.
exception to the rule.
But yeah, Hannah is back, and they basically tell her, "Oh man, you have to face your fears." Well, she faces a fear, but then
let me face my fears. Okay,
well,
I'm sorry.
she faces her fears, and then is still fearful of heights. Basically, still has a fear.
That actually got the laugh out of me where she's like going back to the barrel and it's like, now if you, I accidentally fell into a barrel again. I hope you want to carry me away back home.
I hope someone can carry me to my home. Yeah, that was
I mean,
nice. Yeah.
To be fair to them, right? Like I think that's a bit more realistic though, because some people just can't get over their fear that easily. Like, it's one thing to say, "Oh, you're afraid of heights." Okay, get over it. Like, well,
No, like
And she's like,
Sure.
yeah.
I'll definitely do that.
As someone who knows and knew people with a fear of heights, this is not something that goes away the soon you climb a mountain or something. This is still going to, be an obstacle for you.
Also, this is the episode where Dax keeps swinging hammers and loses them. And also the one where the shot happens with the zoom out and Winger just going like, "You don't get it."
Also,
I
like
still
how he-
love that scene. It's
Yeah.
so good.
I like how at the very end he throws it again, and you hear Hannah in the bucket. Was that my hammer? And the
Yeah.
other hammer's just gone.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
the show has some legitimately good laughs at times.
Oh
Yeah.
no, for sure. Yeah. but otherwise there was not much about this episode.
Actually,
It was
but
a lot of back and forth.
speaking of humor, this is one episode where like the entire joke of Purple trying to be a human got a bit old.
Oh,
that was-
right, that was in this episode.
That was so weird.
I thought that was going to be like the episode and like the problem and whatever, but nope, it was
That was
just
just
a
a side
background
thing.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for some
that's-
weird reason.
Okay.
Purple
I-
wants
I
to be
do-
more human. What's it like to be human?
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of liked it. I kind of
was
liked
neat,
it.
but it
It
didn't-
was
At the beginning, sure, but at some point it's like, okay, we get the joke. Let's no.
They didn't play it too much, if you ask me. It
And
was
then-
it was not annoying, or it didn't get in the way of the plot.
Yeah.
Basically.
It got a bit annoying to me, but
Yeah. I
different
mean,
folks.
one thing that I like is that Aggro goes, you know that humans don't carry stuff in their stomachs, right? Purple just goes, yeah, but I don't have pockets. I'm just sitting here going, but you could have packed up a sack. I don't know. Like, there's
Good
bags.
point.
Dragon pockets.
Yeah,
Good point. Good point.
I like that.
Eh,
But yeah, otherwise there was not much about this episode really. It was a lot of back and forth going to Hannah and the Iron Claw.
Yeah.
And-
Saying that, right? I do like, people complained way back in the day about Race to the Edge having like people pull out stuff from those dimensional pockets, that trope, right? Because like where did
Right.
they keep the axes and the maces and stuff like that?
Now
This
you just
show
have Burple.
actually explains that away by saying Burple's stomachs, like he carries just
Yeah.
everything in his stomach, so it makes sense.
yeah, I'm not sure
I give
if I
them
made
credit.
that joke.
They explained.
I'm
the
not sure
dimensional
if I
pocket.
made. Did I make that joke in the previous season episode where it's basically Rico from the Penguins of Madagascar? Whatever they need, it just burps out.
Wasn't that in the holiday episode when they carry all the buckets of food and stuff, and suddenly Winger just has the training ground set up?
Yep.
Doesn't he explain it by going,
Burple,
oh
Burple
yeah, no,
carried
Burple
them.
just had it in his stomach, and Burple just goes, oh god, my stomach's not unhappy with that.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that
was
happened. So moving on to
Speaking of
episode
Purple,
9.
Yeah. Speaking
Yeah,
of Burple,
Speaking of Purple, and this
Speaking
is the
of
episode
Purple,
where I know the
I
dragon's
I
answer.
just understood the pun of his name. No, not really. I got it in the first.
episode
but,
9, King Burple.
King, this honestly, at some point during this episode, I started to zone out. Like I couldn't care. This is filler to the maximum filler.
I liked it. Who is
yes,
that
but I
voice?
did
I know
like
that
it.
voice. Who is the
That
voice of this
voice-
dragon?
Is Oscar, you mean, right?
Yes. The.
I know him
Fly
from
Hopper.
Mystery Science.
Do you know the name of
But-
the actor?
His was what was it? I think it was Peter Oswald or something. It's a comedian.
I
Oh,
a lot
I
of
think I know.
comedians are on this show.
You know, I'm not sure. I'm
yeah.
not sure. I'm not sure about this, but I think he's the guy, Patton Oswalt, maybe. I think he's the voice of Remy in Ratatouille.
I am gonna go ahead search him because I know he's from Mystery Science Theater 2000. Search him there. It is Mr. Patton Oswalt.
Yeah,
Ah.
that's the voice of Remy in Ratatouille.
Yeah, I searched it during the episode because I was like, I know, and it's Patton Oswalt, and he's amazing. I love that actor so much. It's just fantastic. Oh wow, that's literally just a name, not a link.
Well,
But yeah, that's literally the only reason why I liked Oscar. It's just because he voices.
Oh yeah, this is the
Oscar.
guy who plays this guy, if I'm not mistaken, he plays Bob in Stranger Things, right?
no, that's Sean Astin.
Ah, Sean Astin. Okay, they look similar, sound similar too.
Apparently he voiced the Mill character in Minecraft story mode.
Yes,
did
but yeah,
not know
I
that.
do know Patton Oswalt as well. He's always a pretty good comedian too. But yeah, I
Yeah.
liked him in this one. He was fun,
Yeah.
and I liked this episode too. It was a fun episode. I actually, the Flyhoppers were another really nice and good design I felt from the show. And
I think it's alright.
I
Yeah.
wonder if they were a bit of a reference to the nano dragons from the books.
Okay, apparently he voiced Uncle Ben in the current Spider-Man cartoon. I am so good.
Patton Oswalt's been in a lot of
Probably
stuff.
not. I mean,
There's some similarities, like they live in a small village and there's small dragons. It's not quite one-to-one, no, for sure. But I wonder if it was a
Yeah.
bit of a reference.
yeah, the whole king thing was interesting.
Yeah.
I
will
say
admit
the
this
least.
Again,
They
this I'm sorry just to be that guy, but I don't know. This was like, okay, I got the point. Let's move it along, and I didn't really enjoy that one.
I liked the humor with Cutter in this one. You know, continually calling him the clown, and just a lot of slapstick humor. It was fun in this one.
Yeah, he tries to point out, oh man, I can do stuff. I can do it better than Purple, and it just keeps going
Wrong.
hilariously wrong.
Yeah.
Basically. I do love how he says, "Can a clown do this?" And then he basically shoots one of his spines. It comes back, and it just ends up on one hand. And he's like, "Oh wait, this wasn't meant to happen." That's good. I like that bit.
Also, you know, we have the entire thing of we've not mentioned these two characters, by the way, Rocky and Shelly. You know, the side plot of this one is the rest of the team looking for Elbone's boat, another character we don't mention very often, but is also a good comedy slash slapstick character. But yeah, like the entire plot is them looking for his boat, and they spend the rest of the episode looking for Rocky lost in a pile of other rocks.
And eventually it turns out that they were on the same island all along. Yeah, that was pretty fun too. Just Burple coming along and being like, "Oh, you searched all day. Here's Rocky."
Yep.
That's good. They were just like, "Oh, Rocky isn't here, is he?" And Burple
Yeah,
just goes along and he's
that
like,
was-
"Oh, here he is."
Yep.
That was actually a funny. Yeah.
I like that. That's nice.
And I also, like, we didn't mention it before, but I love the fact that, you know, Elbone picks up another, you know, imaginary friend character in the name of Shelly, and it's just, he has, you know, he has to be careful of Rocky getting jealous of Shelly now, and it's just so dumb and silly, and I love it.
Also, he made an anchor out of wood.
Oh, yes. Another one of his brilliant schemes for, you know, trying to get away from being a fisherman, because apparently he doesn't want to be a fisherman, even though dude is exceptionally good at being a fisherman. Like,
oh yeah, like
he's
insane.
like blessed with like amazing fishing powers. Like that is his superpower, to always catch anything and everything in the sea, no matter what.
Pretty much. I mean, honestly, I feel like if he wants to fish out a unicorn, he could probably do it.
But moving on, I suppose. Anything else to say about King Burple?
Not really.
No.
Except I really like the actor, and that's the only reason.
Yeah.
So, otherwise, it was mediocre, I guess.
Fun actor.
Yeah.
So, what we are moving on to episode 10, Charged Up. Question.
Do you see how we get increasingly faster with these?
Maybe it says something about the show. I don't know. But question: am I the only one who thinks this would have been a better season finale?
No. You are
No.
you are the only one that thinks that. I don't think this would have been a better season finale. I think
Well,
the season finale got was
do you
better.
agree with me on anything? Do we agree on anything?
There wasn't as much on the line, because we'll get to this. I feel like Magnus being chief is more disastrous than a dragon.
There's more at stake with Magnus becoming chief than
okay, here's the
I'm
thing.
kind of sad didn't happen, but we'll get to it.
Well, I will say this: something about the episode. It's the ending of it anyway. It and we'll probably talk more about this when we get to episode 12. But the season finale felt a bit more like a character episode, for Burple, while this one felt like a group episode. The group having to actually work together and each one do his thing in order to beat the threat. So I felt like this was a better season finale than the
I
episode
disagree.
I've got
finale.
another point for that because in the season finale they literally get adopted by the chief. So
Yeah.
I mean that's quite a big
Yeah, but
change in the...
aside of that, though, taking this part aside, I think this would have made a slightly better season finale. But maybe it's just me.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Well, my uniqueness is kept. Moving on with the episode.
So
Mechano Dragon Part 3.
Yep. The fact that Magnus invents a skrill, pretty much.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm not. This was basically. It really reminded me of actually my favorite episode of the entirety of Race to the Edge, which was Time to Skrill, which was basically them fighting the Skrill all over, all over the place, and actually it was like a big chase scene.
Mm-hmm.
This really reminded me of it, especially the part with Deck and Wingale actually trying to outmaneuver it. That really reminded me of that.
I mean, also, I think Magnus is definitely the first person, and at the very least, the first Viking to have invented artificial intelligence accidentally.
Yeah.
But that's completely besides the point.
Actually, something interesting fact about it's not even a dub thing. This is actually even with subtitles. The Hebrew name for this episode is "It's Alive."
Wow,
that's great. I love that. That's so good.
That's
good.
And considering how this thing wakes up with the thing, the mechanical dragon actually being charged up by lightning and actually developing a thing. It's like somebody saw Frankenstein and then had to translate this episode name and was like, you know what? Let's put a reference there, but the kids won't get it. Somebody will.
I think they did a bit of referencing when Magnus did the evening inventing. They tried to go for that kind of style.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't quite completely go for it, but a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Bringing up,
nice.
Something else I noticed about this episode that I've seen a little bit they've done, here and there throughout the season, bringing up back the idea that, they do more with the animation and everything. I love that we see more of Layla's little nervous tick of her pulling on her braid and kind of rubbing it when she gets nervous or scared or a little bit worried about things. Like, I love that they still bring that, they bring that up and use that a lot more this season with trying to do more with the animation. I enjoy that. It's a nice little cute little thing from her.
I didn't notice.
Yeah,
even.
you can see her. You can see her in this episode especially where she'll pull on her braid and pull it to the front of her and pull on it a little bit when she's nervous or worried. Like, you can actually see it's a nervous little tick of hers, I suppose. It's a nice little detail thing, which was neat.
Yeah.
And it's cute.
I can't say I noticed that, but if you say so, that's actually a pretty...
I do say so.
Ooh. Look at him. Taking charge.
I am the authority on Rescue Riders. Detail animation.
I'm not sure how much this is a thing to be proud of, but sure, take it away,
Who's going
buddy.
to challenge me? The
We'll
Rescue Rider,
get
DreamWorks
to
Dragons
that
Rescue
episode.
Riders expert. Who will challenge me?
Fair enough.
I think nobody will want. Nobody will want to. Honestly.
Good. I am the king.
Shame.
Ian, can you just maybe put a picture of one of the wolves from this show and then say, I'm the authority on Rescue Riders. Who wants to challenge me?
God. Christ. I have to now.
Okay.
You do.
But overall, I did enjoy this one.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very, again, even by a standard kids show standards, it was a fun episode, and I enjoyed the climax for it. So
Yep.
good on it.
One thing. Magnus is really an idiot, isn't he? I mean,
It's,
You just now noticed.
I mean,
well,
in this
idiot.
episode
Idiot.
because
I won't say idiot because the guy invented life basically.
well,
But
yes,
at the same time,
Idiot
I'll
savant.
say I would say incompetent.
he charged it up basically, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, this will be fine in a fun website. Whatever. What could possibly go wrong?"
What could possibly go wrong?
I mean, I've even put a meter in there that says when it's too much, but frick it. I'll just leave it.
He is an idiot savant.
Yeah.
And a genius when it comes to inventions and
By the
inventing
way,
things,
what
but an
is-
idiot when it comes to figuring out how they actually work.
By the way, you noticed how we barely mentioned Axel in the entire thing. It's almost like this guy had no point being here. But
It's almost like he
Yeah.
just controls stuff so that they had an excuse to have Magnus in.
Yeah. Like he's the Stig. He's kind of silent in the background and he pilots all of
He's the
the
Stig.
machines. He's the Stig.
Oh my god.
Julie,
I
do the
suppose
thing.
so.
He is Magnus's Stig.
I suppose so. Yeah, he talks a bit more than him, but
Nobody
bit.
would mention the reference to the much better show that I just pointed out.
what? Riders of Berk.
I said Julie, do the thing.
What? Emperor's New Groove.
Seriously?
That'd
The
be
Legend
Kronk.
of Korra.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I haven't watched Legend of Korra.
It's
Oh,
been so
okay.
long.
How could you forget Varek?
No, I've never watched
Now
it.
it comes back to me. Yeah, okay.
Okay, I wasn't talking to you, Ian. I was talking to Wolf, who actually watched the show. How could you
It's
forget
been a
one of the
long
better
time.
characters?
I was
but,
talking to the superior human.
Oh, you know
And,
something?
and half of your
since one
references
of
are
you,
Sonic references, so they kind of go in one ear out the other at this point.
Half of them. The other half.
You know what? I deserve it.
The other half are
that's-
Frozen references, and they go in the other ear and out the
I'm
other ear.
sorry.
fair enough, yeah.
When was the last time I referenced Frozen?
I was about to say if you were gonna say Sonic, I was just cash.
Mm.
No, I think something. The only Frozen reference that I ever think we did was Rush who did it, and I
You've done
was actually
Frozen
annoyed.
references. If I'm not mistaken, it was on the Outcast recently. You did one too.
Well, that's the
And you-
Outcast, not the Berkcast.
That
so,
still counts. That still counts.
No, it's not.
Moving
It's
on
a
back to
different
the
episode
show.
counter. But
Talking about not Oscar-nominated movies. Anyway, episode 11.
but I will say again, Challenged Up I enjoyed that episode.
It was not.
And moving on to episode 11,
Although-
Belly Flop.
Still Mechano Dragon. Yes, belly flop.
So, did not expect to see a sea slug dragon, the sea grunkle.
Sea
Yeah,
Chronicle, yeah.
this was like, you know what would be cool? What if we took Meatlag from the original and actually made her a giant? It's like, but we have a Meatlag look like.
Let's be honest with ourselves. This dragon wasn't made because they thought of a cool dragon idea. This dragon was specifically made for this VA, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Because
basically.
what is his name? Let's see if the wiki has it written down.
What? The name of the Sea Chronicle.
Yeah, the VA for the sea grunkle.
Oh. Question.
Brian.
Uh,
I'm gonna butcher his last name. Potion.
I don't know.
But I mean, he's the VA where you hear him. He plays a lot of like slow, like I don't care characters. I'm taking my time. I'm lazy. Like he plays a lot of those characters. And this is what the sea grunkle is. Gludge is the name of the sea grunkle. He's lazy.
You
and
can probably
slow.
tell that this was like an easy day at the job for him.
Mhm. Like this character was made for him, for his voice. I feel like that's why this character exists.
Oh sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
It
mean,
wasn't.
oh, go ahead.
Yeah. It was. not my favorite episode.
I didn't mind it.
it's-
Like the story of this one is we have a little bit of it's Summer's birthday, so they're distracting Summer, and you have Layla with Elbone getting some fish so they can make her a particular type of meal. And Elbone once again showing how amazing of a fisherman he is, that he catches these fish in like 5 seconds, and they're supposed to be super rare fish.
I mean, I completely forgot that was part of this episode. Yeah, no, this was.
It's
It
understandable.
was.
It's not
And
that
then
bad.
we have a lot of good, I feel, slapstick moments of, later on Elbone's captured by the sea gronkle because the sea gronkle accidentally ate him, and the sea gronkle thinks, there's no way I could have ate him. I would have seen it. And they're like, just because you can't see good with your eyes doesn't mean it didn't happen. He's like, yeah, it did. And they're
This
just like,
was,
"I don't have a response to
no
that."
argue. Yeah.
maybe it's maybe it's my Jewish side, but I saw this and I'm like, so this is basically the story of Jonah from the Bible.
That's fair. But I mean, they do a lot of slapstick with it of, hey,
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like I said at the beginning, the slapstick in the season is good, but like I see this, this guy's been swallowed by like the closest thing to a whale we're going to get in this show, and it's like, huh.
Summer giving the fish and also being eaten.
But yeah, they have, Dak comes in to save the day because he can't cook at all, so they have the dragon basically throw up, which was great to see. I was hoping we could I was gonna give the show credit. 2 seasons, not a single, they've had fart jokes, I suppose, so that's doesn't count anymore. But we almost made it up without a other more bleh body humor jokes. But no, they couldn't do it for a season. They had to make it in there somehow, and they did.
They didn't have too many fart jokes with Burp.
No, not this season. No, like that was actually nice. They did a lot better with that.
I think the only one was in his dream, actually.
Yep, that was the only one.
Where he basically farted to turbo himself.
Yep, which I'll admit got me to chuckle a bit for how dumb it was.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
So I can't hate the fart joke too much. I suppose I still laugh at it. I will say though, the joke that got me the best with this episode was Jorgen Redboot, because Elbone finds a red boot inside of the sea gronkle's mouth. And he's like, "Does anyone know what happened to Jorgen Redboot?" And they're like, "No, why? Never mind, no reason." And then later in the episode, you see Jorgen Redboot come along.
At the end.
Jorgen Redboot's not Jorgen Redboot without his red boot. And then he's like, "Now to find my red boat." And he just sits down on the ground and starts rowing away. I'm like, what?
Yeah, this was so random.
Yeah, what was the point exactly? Is it gonna become a villain now? I don't.
I loved it though. It was great. It was great as a joke. It's like, I don't know why that was, but it was great randomness. Like,
Considering
thumbs up for me.
Considering the one possible Bible reference, wouldn't it actually be hilarious if you saw him rowing on the sand, and then all of a sudden when he gets to the ocean, he would actually just sit on the ocean, on the water, and won't drown.
That'd be great. I would have laughed at that even harder. That would have been perfect season if they would have done that. Perfect season.
Next season, he just comes around onto Hot School or just keeps around.
More Jorgen
Hello,
Redboot.
remember me?
No reason. He's just there rowing somewhere else in the background. That'd be great.
Just in the beginning of the episode or something. Hello, I'm back. All right, so let's go on.
No one acknowledges it. You just kind of see him rowing through.
Yeah.
They're all just like, oh yeah, that's
Jorgen Redboot.
Yeah, that's
Good old Jorgen Redboot.
Classic.
Okay, so moving on to episode 12, the season finale, Game of Homes. And before we say anything,
wink, 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 nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Get the name Game of Horns.
Oh, yeah.
Wink, wink.
Yeah.
I will say this: another music reference. They do play Forbidden Friendship.
Yeah.
Yep, they do.
I was like,
dance off, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and it's like, wait a minute, I know this song. What is it doing here?
Yeah, that was an interesting use of.
Something I would love to like see somebody at YouTube comparing the the main franchise to this, And it's like, let's see the use of forbidden friendship in the first How to Train Your Dragon movie. We get the entire scene. And then you see, now let's see what Rescue Riders did.
No,
They play this.
you literally just get like 2 seconds. Like how do they use it in How to Train Your Dragon? Then you get like the feely moment where Toothless and Hiccup touch for the first time. And then you get like, and this is Rescue Riders, and then you just get 2 seconds of dance.
Yeah.
Like, oh, all right.
To any future YouTuber who will do YouTube reviews about How to Train Your Dragon, go for it. But anyway,
I'll give them credit. The whole thing of like the story of this one is Magnus challenges. Like we have the Festival of Festivals that we only hold every 4 years, and Magnus is
which confirms the timeline.
Yes, and Magnus
Because we went from this season, we went from spring all the way to August. Because this is the Festival of Festivals, and in the episode where they said it was spring, they said, "Oh, soon they'll have a Festival of Festivals."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we do. It's in August, and for some reason they forgot that there's a Festival of Festivals, even though it's not even half a year ago that they've been mentioned.
Yeah, what can you do?
But
So
yeah, and in this Festival of Festivals, you're apparently able to challenge the chief for chiefdomship, and that's what Magnus and Elbone apparently do. And the fainting guy.
yeah, actually, that's one of the things I
Elbone
like.
wants to do it. The only reason he wants to do it is because then he doesn't have to fish anymore.
Yeah, and I love how one of the challenges is fishing, and that's the only one he gets right, and he's frustrated with it.
Poor
of course.
Poor Elbone though. Like
it's like he gets a point. Everybody's still in the game, and they're on top with, and it's anybody's game but mine.
By the way, Aggro kind of has a point. Like, what half of these challenges have to do with being chief?
Fancy dancing, obviously.
I mean, to be fair, being able to throw a rock, Stoic, could throw a daggum wagon, man. So I think you need to be able to throw a rock if you're chief.
For sure. Yes.
Yeah, and that actually brought me back to the line. Like, when I was a boy, my dad told me to hit a rock with my head. I did. I thought it was nuts, but I did it. And you know what happened? I got a headache. I don't know.
Headache.
It brought me back to this moment. But
man.
Anyway, there was the entire, and then we have like the one of the parts that I actually liked, and I was surprised that it actually got to me as much as I did, because again, it's not a bad show or anything, but I won't say that I necessarily care for it all that much. But I actually found a point where Dak and Layla actually come to Daggard and tell him, you know what, adopt us so that we will be your family.
The thing is, Axel is helping Magnus in the games, and apparently you're allowed to do that because family can, help each other out in these games, because the games were apparently written by another chief who was considered a cheater. And they had cheater in his name as well. So, he's very
they actually make fun of, like, I wonder how we got that.
Yeah. And, they come to Duggar and say, hey, adopt us so we can help you out. Adoption's really quick in this role, by the way, but I'll admit, like, I got that was nice. That was
I think that was
a legit armor. Yes.
What was particularly sweet was that they basically came to him and said, like, oh man, yeah, for like the games you'll have to adopt us so we can help you. And he's like, oh hell yeah, I kind of wanted to do that anyway.
Yeah, that was nice. That was actually it was a real sweet moment. It was like, oh yeah, I already saw you as family, so let's make it official. And
so is this going to be played in later seasons, we think?
Who knows?
Maybe, but I kind of doubt it. I don't think they'll do much more with it, but maybe they will. Maybe they'll surprise me. Maybe they have an entire storyline planned out.
Who knows? I doubt that.
The Duggar family.
But
Magnus only had a nephew.
Oh god! Yeah. I mean, he does have. He has to have sisters and brothers apparently if he has a nephew.
Yeah, he needs to have
and
siblings.
Parents.
Why didn't they help him? I mean, honestly.
Well, considering nobody actually wants Axel.
Also, keep in mind the letter said that he was the 11th person they had sent Axel to. So there was apparently 11 brothers and sisters.
Well, not necessarily brothers and sisters. Maybe
Relatives, at least,
parents or
anyways.
just cousins or
Friends.
something.
They just put him off at a friend's house. Here you go. It's your problem now.
Poor Axel. But yeah,
A little bit.
poor Elbone though in this episode. Everyone else gets family to help them out, but Elbone's like got nothing. And then he's like, "I'm gonna go get Rocky. He'll help me out." And then he's like, "You have to throw." And then he has to throw Rocky for the rock toss, and he just can't do it. He can't throw Rocky.
But then we get to the final race, and that's where Burple has a chance to shine, and boy does he shine with the power of spin dashing.
I knew you'd make us another Sonic reference to this.
This was so obvious. Even
It's
the
fair.
not
That's
me
completely
would do
fair. It is fair.
Yeah, that was couldn't be any other reference really. Yeah, I mean that was such a cliche moment of the film, just being way too
like,
full of
of
himself
course,
and then still losing.
And of course, it would have been. This wouldn't have been more, fitting than if Burple would have rolled just to the side of Magnus. No, he needed to roll on him and squash him.
Also, Magnus, for some reason, jumped to the finish line and didn't quite make it. Still an idiot. Still an idiot.
To be fair, you're talking about the same guy who decided to stop at the finish line and get out and read off of a long list for no good reason because he wants to gloat
that was
much.
So stupid.
It was so dumb, but I loved it. I still loved it.
I do love how Axel did still have logic in his mind of being like, do we really have time for this? Shouldn't we? I don't know. Finish.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh well. Good for
and
you.
then we end. And then we end with riders and daggers flying off into the sunset with happy music, and we may or may not see them again.
I honestly hoped that Magnus would have won, because that would have made it very interesting.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think the people behind this show really know if they're going to make another season or not.
Mm-hmm.
So, and considering this is a much younger demographics, they probably don't want to end on like a cliffhanger.
on being like, well, they're probably fucked now. Enjoy, kids.
Yeah,
They're gonna get kicked out of their home.
Looks back to the latest show Wolf and I reviewed on the Berkcast, on the Outcast, even though it wasn't necessarily meant for kids. But
God no.
I like the God no. But,
Do not let a little kid watch Spider-Man, the new animated series, at all. They curse in that one. It's edgy.
Edgy.
Yeah, they say "holy crap" for 2 seconds. There you go.
Well, no,
Kids are not allowed to watch.
No, they say actual curse words. They say fuck, or is it fuck? No, they say shit.
Yeah.
Which I just said in a
Rescue Riders.
In the end, it just turns out it's a Deadpool. But
Yeah. Okay. Basically, though, after this season, considering because we did talk about this in the previous episode we did on this as well, that we did wonder if there's actually going to be a continuing thing to this, like maybe we'll find out something about Declan's parents, or maybe we'll see more of the world or something. And after this season, I think it's safe to assume that we won't get something that big from this show. And honestly, I don't think it really needs to go for something big. It's fun for what it is, honestly.
I think
honestly,
we could, though.
it might.
I think we could. I think, you have, Chief Duggart adopted them, and then, hey, kids, we're your parents. We've shown back up again. I think they could do something
Don't get me wrong.
And there's the whole thing with Axel that could develop into something.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say. I won't be against if they'll explore what happened to Declan's parents. I won't be against it if they do that. But what I'm saying is that considering how this season was handled, I'm not seeing this as a possibility of what they have in store for the show.
That's
Maybe I'm not sure, but I won't hold it to any quote unquote high regard in terms of planning out a story arc.
Even though I would love
And
for
again,
them
I don't.
to
I,
get Dax and Layla's parents in, I think it'd be a bit weird because Dax and Layla will probably just be like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, well, we don't remember you. We've probably been with you for, I don't know, half a day. Like,
who knows? But the thing is that one thing I can say for sure, I don't think I want any other direct connections to the main franchise. And like, use music, use some elements or something, but actual characters and places, that's a no.
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, no. I mean, that's
But
one thing. The music already is stay to your own, preferably. But oh well.
yeah, but I don't think I have any more to say about this. Like, if there will be a third season, we'll be here to cover it. But
I think there will be actually, probably definitely because there's now the Embassy Peacock streaming service.
yeah, because we don't have
Which-
enough streaming services.
Exactly.
So what
But
what is up with that? Is Rescue Riders going to be on the streaming service now instead of Netflix?
So CNET reported that NBC was going to do a streaming service because, of course, and they were talking about what series they would get, what original series they will get, and on the kids shows, Rescue Riders is actually listed. So I feel like they will definitely want to get new episodes of Rescue Riders on there because otherwise people will just not really care for that kid show because they probably already watched it on Netflix.
Yeah, but at the same time, you could also make the argument that once that Peacock streaming service is out, that show would be pulled out of Netflix, and it will only be there.
Yes, most likely. For international, maybe not. I think because with there's a couple shows that do show on Netflix in the Netherlands, but for example, not the US, because then you can watch it on Hulu.
Yeah, like for example,
I think
I'm not
Brooklyn
sure.
Nine-Nine, but I'm not sure if that's on Netflix in the USA.
I'm not sure too, but one thing I can tell you is that the Teen Titans live action show, that's on the DC streaming service. But I don't know about the Netherlands, but we don't have that. That's on Netflix for us.
Oh yeah, we've gone on Netflix. Yeah.
So, pointing out, looking at the kids' library they have coming to Peacock, what a weird name.
Yeah, I know.
It looks like a lot of DreamWorks' shows that they've made for Netflix is going to Peacock as well. So it might be that Netflix is not interested in renewing the contracts for those shows as well. So Peacock has picked
That's
them up.
actually
I don't think so.
I mean,
necessarily.
Peacock does have She-Ra coming to it. It has Madagascar coming to it. It has Voltron coming to it.
Yes,
So,
Rescue
but
Riders.
do they mention Race to the Edge? Is that going to move?
well, no, because
No.
that's not new episodes. I think they're talking about new
Fair
episodes.
point. Fair point.
But yeah, no, that's I don't think it's necessarily because Netflix isn't interested. I think it's mostly because Universal has the power to get all of that off of Netflix and onto their own streaming service, which would be
that is right. Universal does own NBC, do they not? Don't they?
yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense then that they would want to say, "Hey, DreamWorks, all your stuff we own you, so it goes here now." Damn it!
Yeah.
I want to
Pretty
see the
much.
last season of She-Ra. Damn it! And now I have to watch it
Yeah.
on another service.
Yeah, tell me about
Or
it.
just ignore
I'll
it.
probably still have it on Netflix if we don't have this Peacock thing. But
Oh yeah,
yeah,
just use a VPN on Netflix. Screw it.
Mm.
I think honestly, the more streaming service there will be, and the more content will be divided
Divided.
in the US, the more
yeah,
Netflix will probably not care about VPNs used within the US. Because honestly,
so guys, this is just getting a bit off topic,
a
and
little bit.
so we might
Just a
close
bit.
it.
Rescue Riders. Do we think there will be a season 3? I think so.
Yeah, I could see
Yeah,
it.
it's possible. But I'm assuming that like until again like a few weeks before it, when all of a sudden a trailer will drop, or
Oh, yeah.
Netflix will probably suddenly say there's a new season coming up, and so until then, this was all for this Berkcast. Enjoyed it. What did you think about Dragon's Rescue Riders season 2? Are you excited or hoping for a season 3? You can tell us all about that in the comment section below, on our Tumblr, which is Berkcast Team, on our Twitter, which is Berkcast with a capital B, capital C, and you can find all of us on the Hotchana Dragon Valhalla Discord server. So until next time, I was HC.
I was Wolf.
And me was Ian.
And we will talk to you all next time, whenever that will be. Take care.
Whenever Rescue Riders happen, you'll hear me.
Fair enough.